Imagine the prodigal's pilgrimage home, retracing each short-sighted step, back through the distant country, through the time and the money, past all the choices you can never take back, wondering, how will my father react? When that mess of mud-covered hair crests the horizon, a fair father would sit back and wait. But our Father isn't fair, and He doesn't hesitate. He runs out to us, unafraid to display His pure joy. Oh, a fair father would stand, arms folded, heart guarded, judging with each stare and squint. But our Father isn't fair. So our Father sprints, arms open from end to end, preparing for an impending embrace. And it doesn't matter where we've been or that our pig-pen sin makes us reek. This delirious dad grabs us close and plants kisses on our cheek. Yeah, a fair father would size us up, noting our tattered clothes as he second guesses us. But our Father isn't fair. So He calls for a robe and He dresses us. So generous, even though He's not blind to the sin in us, He still wraps us in righteousness, clothing us, claiming us, and naming us as His own. Sure, a fair father would count up the cost of our hell-bent fling. But our Father isn't fair. So He brings His signet ring and places it on the very same hand that snatched away an untimely inheritance, not demanding payback like a proud patriarch. Instead, He invites us to wear His mark and to once again represent Him wherever we are. Most of all, a fair father would sneak us in the back door, not wanting to relive the public scandal from before, disdaining the din of a neighbor's derisive laugh. But our Father isn't fair, so He kills a fattened calf and with great pride invites every neighbor within sight. Come one, come all, it's gonna be a good night. It's a celebration unrivaled, a communal joy unbridled, making this prodigal's pilgrimage home an unforgettable arrival. Thank God, our God doesn't give us what we deserve. When we come back ready to play the hired hand and serve, when we show up with a plan and a script and try to sew up the relationship we so swiftly ripped, when we slink home broken and pitifully attempt to repair the bridge we so readily burned, thank God, our God doesn't give us what we've earned. Instead, through His Holy Spirit, He gives us an awakening. And suddenly, we hear it. His still small voice calling us to open our eyes, to choose brutal honesty over whitewashed lies, to admit aloud when we are starving to death, to let voice and breath make the truth known, and finally to act, to get up and run home. It is time to run home to a Father whose forgiveness is unfazed by your failures, whose provision outlasts your prodigal problems, whose healing overwhelms your heavy heartbreak, and whose mercy overcomes your many mistakes. For God's only one and faithful Son faced death on a tree, rose again on day 3, that you and I might be grafted back into this heavenly family, that we might rest in this recklessly generous grace, knowing our Savior's gone ahead and He is preparing our place. So prodigal sons and daughters, stand to your feet. Come on, stand to your feet. Lift your voice to this Father who is running to meet you. Sing out in response. Reach up and receive the redemption He's promised, the rescue we need. He's not just our Father, He's our eternal King. His Son took up a cross and robbed death of its sting, and a moment of mercy in this Father's arms changes everything.